Hey, welcome to Secondhand Blasters. This is Normatico here, and I am back with another blaster to review and another mega deal that I got. So we are actually going to see one of the Dart Zone products, more specifically one of the Dart Zone Max lines. This is a blaster that I have seen on the shelves before, and I was always kind of hesitant on the price, only because of the fact that I saw what it was, and I figured, the Nexus Pro is a little bit less. So I personally bought myself a Nexus Pro. I am talking about the Dart Zone Max Stryker, or as I'm going to have to call it, the Dart Zone Maxus Pro, because this blaster pretty much looks like a Nexus Pro as far as I'm concerned. I believe this one may have come out first. Now, this one does retail for $54.99. It is still on the shelves at Target, and you can actually also buy those online as well. I was able to get a hold of this one via eBay, via my eBay seller. I'm going to pimp his website again, or their website again, which is Bullseye Deals. They actually posted this one for $22.99, so I was like, yoink! And I grabbed it, because that is quite the deal. That is half off. It looks like when they actually purchased this one, they got this on clearance for only $30. That tag is here. I got this in the mail, and they just went ahead and taped up the box, so that is why there is tape on this box. Of course, this is one of those Dart Zone Max boxes that you can just flip open and see everything is in there, which is kind of awesome. So this blaster itself does come with 30 darts. It does come with the half-length darts and the standard length, as well as one magazine for full length, one magazine for half length, as well as the adapter. And most importantly, the sight. Usually when I buy things that are not quite new in box from Bullseye Deals, there might be something missing, and this one was completely new in box. I am super excited to actually go ahead and unbox this blaster. Let's go ahead and actually switch views so you can see just what's inside the box. Okay, so I got to figure out how to do this without smacking my camera. Let's take a look here. Let's move this back a little bit here. This is a big box. Can't really open it like that. So, gotta be smarter than what you're working with. Normatico. And got the two little pieces of tape there. This unfolds. And there we have it, the inner shell of the box itself. So of course it is not plastic-free packaging. That's fine, I get it. Dart Zone likes to spend a little bit more money on the plastic, and that's cool. I respect it, even though I'm an environmentalist. So let's go ahead and knock these out of here. We have the mini mag. We have the standard mag. There's that one little piece of plastic just there. We have our blaster. The muzzle. Stock. Adapter. Our rounds. And our iron sights. One more thing that the blaster does come with, it does come with these safety glasses that are right here. I have accumulated a collection of like 7 of these, so I'm just going to leave these here for now. You see, they're there. There you go, safety glasses. All right. and of course the instructions themselves. Let's read these instructions really quick. Okay, yep, look at that, I read them. Now, of course, putting this blaster together, it is pretty simple. You have the blaster itself, the stock just goes ahead and slides on here. Now, one of the cool things about these blasters, much like the Nexus Pro, it only has this one screw here. You take out that screw, that twists off, that then pushes out this little cap with a spring, and you can do a spring swap in here easily. You also can buy a spring spacer that just goes in there, push it that back in there, and congratulations, you have a 25 FPS boost, if not more than that. If you are wanting something like that, I do recommend going to Etsy. You can find those without a problem. One of my favorite Etsy stores, which is SM Enterprises, Sam Miller, he probably has one of these that he can send you, and I want to say that they're like $7. So it's not that expensive to actually get the spring spacer. What I will tell you is that if you're going to get an upgraded spring, don't necessarily get the spring spacer, because that's going to make this priming handle be a bear to actually prime. So it's tougher than a K25 spring to prime at that point. And the boost that you get is okay. You're looking at making it a much harder prime, where it is almost unfeasible to prime it in competition. And yeah, you're getting a 20 FPS boost. You're going to hit about 200, but it's much harder to prime. It's not a consistent prime, I should say. So let's go ahead and actually get this on here, because there you go. And of course, if you need to adjust it, you just actually pull that out and you adjust that. You do have the actual safety as well. You have the mag release here. Of course, if you're going to be using the adapter, you have an additional release here for the mini mag. The priming handle itself, this is now primed. You fire that. One thing I will say is that once you do prime this blaster, if you actually tilt it downwards, that primes automatically. That's a little bit of a problem, because I don't feel it should be that loose, but you know, it is what it is. Of course, the muzzle brake itself just goes right there. You don't have to screw it in. You just pop right in. Ta-da, muzzle brake. I tend to actually remove these because of the fact that I feel like the performance is much better without it. Aesthetically, this looks cooler, but this performs better like this. The barrel itself is actually long enough that this is a rifle. It's going to shoot straight. This does nothing for it. So we're going to go ahead and switch views. I'm going to load up these darts, and we're going to talk more about this blaster. Okay, so we are back with a fully completed Dart Zone Max Stryker blaster. So this is a sharp-looking blaster, not going to lie. I love the details on this blaster, the color scheme, the red with the gray. It is kind of amazing. Of course, living in Ohio, these are OSU colors as far as I'm concerned. It does have the actual iron sights on here. I went ahead and put them on here so you can see what it looks like, just like that. You can actually just use the iron sights, or you can just use the scope itself. Now, the targeting scope itself does have the crosshairs mounted inside of it, which is kind of nice. That is a departure of what Hasbro has done recently with some of their blasters, where they just put a hollowed out tube. So that's kind of nice. You can aim with this. Now, it does have the actual metal barrel on the inside that allows it to shoot faster than most other blasters. This actual stock itself, the adjustment, plus this little cheek rest right here, it is pretty comfortable. I do have it loaded with standard magazine right now. If I wanted to actually load this up with the mini bags, we would just go ahead and actually pop this in, load our mini mags, and we are ready to go. So let's go ahead and actually unload this, because I am going to be doing the chronograph test first with our standard magazines, and then using the actual mini mags itself. So speaking of the chronograph test, we're actually going to do that next, as well as an accuracy test and a distance test. so we're going to do a long distance accuracy test. I am going to have to adjust for the wind here. Now we're going to switch out to the standard size darts and see how accurate those are. It's a beautiful morning here in Ohio, and we are out with the Max Stryker, and I'm going to be doing a distance test with both the standard and the mini darts as well. We're going to do the angled shot and the straight shot to see just how far this blaster can go. We did see with the chronograph that we didn't quite get the up to 100 feet per second, but we got pretty close. I'm going to put that up to the variances. There were a couple of darts that were not in pristine condition. Apparently I snuck in a couple of older darts in there instead of the fresh ones, hence why we got some that were down in the low 100 FPS. So that's been remedied. Let's see how far these can go. And let's see. Angled shot. Straight shot. We're going to go ahead and do a quick dart recovery, and you'll see just how far that angled shot went. Okay, so we recovered the standard size darts. We're going to actually repeat that test now with the mini darts, and we're going to see just how far they went. We do have, I want to repeat, a 10-mile-an-hour headwind, so some of these results might not be the best. We got over 140 feet with the angled shot. In fact, it was 145 feet. I would assume that with the if we did not have a 10-mile-an-hour wind that we were fighting against, that distance would have been increased a little bit more. Now for the mini darts. Let's do a quick dart recovery. We'll see how far we went. So surprisingly, we only got 85 and 105 feet with mini darts. So the standard darts actually win this round with the Max Strike, which, you know what, if I'm being honest with you, the chronograph, they were pretty much on par with each other. I'm going to naturally assume that the variance is because of the wind, also because of the fact that, well, there was a stronger gust this time around when I shot with the mini darts. So yeah, the wind. Unfortunately, this is what you get when you actually do outdoor testing and you're not inside of a controlled environment, but it's the best that I can do right now. We'll be back with my final thoughts regarding the Dart Zone Max Strike. Okay, so here are my final thoughts regarding the Dart Zone Max Stryker. I'll be honest with you, this is a cool blaster. This is just fun. The priming on it, even though the handle is a little bit loose, I can overlook that for the actual performance on this blaster. The accuracy was pretty darn good. Even though there was a lot of wind going on, we still hit 2 out of 3 darts, so 66%. However, the one that we did miss, I can honestly tell you that we had some wind gusts going on, which may have knocked those off. Plus, when they were off, they were only off by a matter of inches. maybe 1 foot at the most. I'm not gonna lie, that's impressive. The CETA was pretty accurate, but the CETA is actually more expensive than this blaster. So coming in at $54, this is awesome. You can actually find these sometimes on clearance. You can also find these at Goodwill. People do donate these sometimes. The site itself, it is pretty cool. I do enjoy this a lot. I actually prefer this over the Nexus Pro. The actual extended stock, you know what? That's cool. And the cheek rest here, that helps out as well. I do dig the fact that you can actually shift between mini darts and standard size darts. That is an awesome thing to have. I think that is actually one of the most important things to look for in any quote-unquote pro level blaster. This is not supposedly a pro blaster. It is part of the Dart Zone Max line. However, it's a pro blaster. The performance, it does say up to 150 feet per second. If you actually take off the muzzle, that is when you get the 150 feet per second. Other than that, I was hitting in the 140 range for standards, and I was hitting pretty varied in the mini darts. So again, it shoots pretty well. I will tell you though that if you compare this to the X-Shot long shot, that is where you actually have to make a decision whether or not you prefer Dart Zone or you prefer X-Shot, or if you prefer this style of blaster versus the actual X-Shot Pro. Which one you choose, that's entirely up to you. I won't judge you for using either of these. I will tell you that this is basically a Nexus Pro, so if you have that one, you don't necessarily need this one. Maybe the sight would be nice, but again, whatever. Now, next thing I want to talk about is the actual audience for this blaster. Is this good for 8 and up? Not really, no. I would actually trust a older child with this one, definitely a teenager without a problem. 8 is a little bit too young. While they can prime the blaster, this is pretty powerful and they might hurt somebody with it if they are not careful. G-Rex, he has just started to use the pro level blasters and he can prime it, so I actually was able to give him something similar to this to play with when him and I are doing actual competitive play against each other, not when there are other children around. So that is what I have to say about that. Are children going to enjoy this blaster? Are teenagers going to enjoy this blaster? Yeah, I'd say that they would, because you know what? It's pretty powerful. So they can actually take this into a competition and they will be able to actually hold their own against some of the other more powerful blasters. This is definitely good for HVZ, especially if you have a 130 to 140 cap. Most of them that I know of, from my understanding, they go up to 150 sometimes. However, 130 is the default. So this is HVZ compliant as long as you're using the standard darts. I would recommend that if you are going to go HVZ with this though, you would use some of the waffle-headed darts, only because those tend to shoot a little bit slower. I will also tell you though that if you want to go above that, definitely get the spring upgrade or get a spring spacer, because that is when you can actually boost this into the 180 and above range like you can with a Nexus Pro. Again, I want to also remind you all, we are doing a blaster giveaway. For every 100 subscribers I get, I will be giving away a free blaster. So if you can, go ahead and actually share my page, get more people to sign up, and that way you can enter for a chance to win a free blaster in the future. I have right now roughly about 200 some odd blasters in my inventory that I kind of need to get rid of. And I want to do that by actually donating it to the community and to people who are going to enjoy using these blasters. And almost every single one of them is, even though they're not new in box, they are like new condition because I take care of my stuff. Again, thank you so much for watching Secondhand Blasters. Until next time, keep on blasting.